Hi, Bob.
Good day.
So you and Sue prefer to describe yourselves as a mom and pop shop. So what does it mean to move beyond?
Yeah, so I mean it's we're getting bigger and growth is a good thing, of course, but it's about trying to split the difference and still keep that sort of mom and pop flavor to the whole thing.
Okay, this is what we're talking today on Dream Travel Share Unpacked.
If you'd like to receive an email version of today's show, along with our weekly travel opportunities, click on the link below to join our mailing list. We promise to only send you one email a week every Friday. You can unsubscribe at any time, and we won't share your email address with anyone else.
So let's start at the beginning. How long have you and Sue been in this biz?
Yeah, we've always been world travelers. And so Sue and I both joke that we've been training our whole lives for this job. But yeah, we started the business about 10 years ago. So, given the fact that, many travel agents have been doing it for 40 years, we're actually new to the business in many ways.
Absolutely. One thing I've always been curious about, because I wasn't with you at that time, is how did you guys manage the pandemic?
Yeah, that was a bit tricky, and we didn't get paid for 18 months, which is, kind of a drag. We hung on for dear life. So we had just started to really ramp up the business, say in 2019. And then, of course, the world ground to a halt in 2020. And so we were pretty lonely. It was just Sue and I trying to hold down the fort because everybody else had to go because there was no revenue. Um, and we were, people say, oh, yeah, you had 18 months off. It wasn't anything like that. We were very, very busy during that time because, again, you have to put yourself back to the mindset then. But we thought, oh, everything's going to be better in 3 months. And then it was, well, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 9. And so we ended up having to rebook people constantly because the cruise lines were giving people incentives to leave their money in the system, right? So they said, no, we'll give you a future cruise credit, marked up by X%. And so we rebooked some people 4 and 5 times. So we were very busy and making no money for 2020, 21. It was kind of a rough period.
Well, I'm sure glad you guys hung in there because I wouldn't be sitting here today if you didn't.
Yeah. And then, so, I mean, what happened next, everybody knows well. It was, we were using the term revenge travel for a while, right? There was all this pent up demand, which was very real. A lot of, which we didn't anticipate, but a lot of people left the business. So again, people that were hobbyists,
Yeah.
how long are you gonna stay in a business where you're not getting paid? Because we get paid after
Yeah.
people travel. So a lot of people left the business. So there was both a supply and a demand problem, and so it got very busy very quickly. And so we had to scale up quickly. And you've been with us, I think, over 2 years now.
Yes, over 2 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, we had to scale up very, very quickly, and so that's what our challenge is now. Is that okay? Well, we've got more people. It's not just Sue and I anymore. But our challenge is, well, how do we still maintain this mom and pop flavor to the business?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned scale up. What do you mean by scale up?
Well, again, when you've got way more clients, then you have to learn to be better, cheaper, faster, quick. So for us, it was about making sure that, our processes were solid. And again, when we first started the business, it was just Sue and I, and we sit across, we're in one office. So we were sitting across, oh, well, who's this file and that file? We would just move things back and forth between the two of us. So certainly when we brought you on and we've got a whole bunch of other people that work with us as well, we had to become a lot more bulletproof when it comes to moving information around and who's working on this file. And quite often on a file, I mean, you come to us and book a trip. Well, there might be 4 or 5 of us that actually touch that file. Most of that's completely invisible to the client or to the customer. They don't see that. But
Yeah.
we have to make sure that those handoffs are tight. And we have to make, again, we're training people. So this is what scalability is.
Would you consider yourself a big agency now?
No, no. We're still very much mom and pop. There's 6 of us for the record. So
Okay.
we are still very small and we want to keep it that way. So we are not going to grow for growth's sake. This is it's a lifestyle business, but it's very much a real business. So meaning that we have to be able to service people and their bookings and all their needs. We have to be able to do this. We have to be able to do it effectively. But yeah, we don't have any desire to open up a call center and have dozens and dozens of employees. That's not really the way we want to take the business.
So what does this mean for our clients? What can they expect?
Right. So, I mean, I just sort of jokingly referred to a call center. We are not ever going to have a call center. So, which is why we normally ask people to make phone appointments. So, this works really well for just about all our clients. Every now and then somebody will say, well, no, I need to be able to phone somebody and have them answer the phone every time I call. And unfortunately, I have to tell those people, you need to deal with somebody that has a call center. We're not able to offer that. But typically our clients talk to either you or me, so Kim or Bob on the phone, because our job is to do the front end, sales and client relations stuff. So that's you and me. So most often people will be talking to you and I, and out of necessity, as you know, you and I both end up being on the phone. My phone or my schedule is a never-ending series of back-to-back phone calls, meaning that, and when I'm on the phone with somebody, they deserve my undivided attention. I'm not going to be putting them on hold to pick up another call. So this is why we say to people, let's schedule a time to talk. It works better for all concerned. And so this is what we do. So while they'll be talking to you and I, what's happening in the background is that quite often they'll be getting emails from Sue and Perry and Satonas. And, Sue, of course, oversees the whole system. Perry, some people I don't think Perry doesn't end up on the phone very much with our clients, but you might get emails from Sue or Perry or Satonas that are things like final payment reminders or bon voyage or congratulations, you're booked, or these sort of things. Those all come from one of those people. And then we also have Rachel, who helps us with our social media feed and whatnot there. So that's the whole team. And so we're still mom and pop, but we are bigger. We have to make sure I used to know every single client, what trip they're on next, often the names of their grandchildren, all these sort of things. We are too big for that. But what we do is we do keep meticulous notes. So, maybe somebody's been dealing with you, but you're out of the office one day, or maybe you're out, sampling one of our new ships or something like that. And so I take the call. And so you've made meticulous notes. So I know the trip that client is on, and I can sort of pick up where you've left off. So even though they'd probably rather talk to you than me, I can be a reasonable proxy.
I don't think that's the case. Well, good. Well, and it is a fun mom and pop shop to work for.
It is. Yeah, we have a blast.
Do you see more growth for
I do.
Pampered Cruiser?
I do. Yeah, I do. And again, not because we are actively trying to create a behemoth. That's not the way that it is. But the luxury leisure travel segment that we are in is growing in leaps and bounds. It is roughly twice as big in 2024 as it was in 2019, and that trend shows no signs of abating. So it's going to continue. So we put the systems in place where we can handle more volume as it comes in, but we really do want to maintain this personal touch with people where we feel like we are a mom and pop shop.
What are we talking about next week, Bob?
We are taking a trip to Australia, New Zealand next week. So about once a month we do a destination feature, and this one's going to be out Australia, New Zealand.
Great. I can't wait.
We'll see you then.
Look forward to it. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this video blog, it really helps us when you like, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so that we know the best content to produce for you. If you want to book a cruise or packaged land vacation, then we'd love to help you out. We know the products and destinations very well, and we can always get you something not available on direct bookings. Our coordinates are in the notes below. Also, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, you get one email a week every Friday with some commentary and some different deals that we're seeing in the marketplace. We don't share your information with anyone else, and if you decide it's not for you, then we're sorry to see you go, but there's an unsubscribe button at the bottom of every email. See you next time.